enter, my friends, and take your merriment. We'll have to ever say on a night is spent.
Oh, you naughty boy.
Bravo, James.
You? I don't think we should have come.
Nonsense, it's much too early for home. What do you say, James?
Sorry?
We'll just have one Lottie, then we'll go.
Are you sure it's all right? I mean, well, it is late.
Don't worry, Lottie. James knows what he's doing. After all, it's his house. By George, you're looking forward to tonight, Lottie.
Now, just you behave yourself, you.
Come on in. Help yourself to brandy.
Well, just an easy, teensy, tiny one.
Is it?
Master.
What do you want?
Open the door, Alice. I want to talk to you.
Something wrong, Mr. James?
I want you downstairs. I've got some unexpected guests.
Is the mistress there?
The mistress has gone to bed. She's taken a sleeping powder.
You've been drinking, Mr. James.
Must allow your master some vices, Alice.
All right, then. Well, turn your back. I'll have to put something on, won't I?
Why not, Alice? Why shouldn't I say when I've been doing it for years?
Alice, what you need is another drink.
Oh, no, I couldn't.
Warm the cockles of your
It's
heart.
not just cockles she's worried about, old boy.
I thought you were a gentleman.
Put it down, there's a good gal.
No, I can't. Not anymore. That's what you've done.
Wake the whole house.
I heard voices. Is there anything you want?
Go away, Pilly.
Let me get you something. A warm drink.
Go away, Pilly. Go to bed. Come in.
Alice took out the water for the master's bath about 15 minutes ago. You asked me to tell you.
Thank you, Pilly. I'll remove myself before he comes down. I'm not in the mood for him this morning after the noise he made last night.
Did the master have company then?
Oh, just some friends from the stock exchange. I didn't join them. I always think a woman's presence is an unnecessary restraint when men are together. What band is that? They don't usually play in the park on a Thursday, do they?
There's a naval squadron visiting. The band is from one of the ships.
Oh, naval squadron. I didn't know.
They've been here nearly a week.
I have not been out much lately. the 5th of Mr. Audubon's studies I've done since the spring. I'm sure no one else has done as many.
Not everybody else has so much time.
No, I'm fortunate in that respect. I think I'll have them framed and hang them in the dining room.
That's the 4th carriage that has drawn up of Mrs. Allenby's. She's at home this morning. Oh, it's Mrs. Forbes. She's wearing a lovely hat. Mrs. Briggs called a few moments ago. Both her daughters are with her. They used to visit here once, before you and the master married. I think Mrs. Briggs was...
Oh, stop it, Billy. I have no wish to hear who is visiting Mrs. Allenby. Why are you telling me?
I'm sorry, Mrs. Maybrick.
Oh, don't go, Billy. Oh, I didn't mean to be cross with you. Well, it's foolish to quarrel when we're so much in each other's company. As it happens, it didn't suit me to go to Mrs. Allenby's this morning. I had to refuse. Oh, the card was brought the other day when you were out.
Billy?
Good morning, Mr. James. Will you be taking breakfast?
No, this morning, thank you. A glass of water, huh? Over here, please, Billy. You know where the mistress is? Huh?
I'm not sure. I think she may be in the conservatory.
That'll be all right. That's where you've been hiding, my dear.
Oh, I wasn't hiding. I thought I'd let you enjoy your breakfast in peace.
Looking very attractive this morning. I disturbed you last night?
Oh, I thought I heard voices once.
Hugh brought me home. Had Lottie Saunders with him. They didn't stay when they realized that you'd retired.
Oh, I waited till past midnight. The first rose opened yesterday, the one from Mr. Hughes. I wanted to show it to you. Where did you meet, Hugh Pentecost?
No, at Herbert Mill's place. I had to call there on a matter of business.
Were there many people there?
Dozen or so. Perhaps not so many. I didn't really notice.
I thought you said it was a matter of business.
So I was. I had some papers for him. He's extending his cotton holding.
If there were others there, why did he not ask me, do you think?
Well, you can't expect to visit my clients when they're instructing me.
Hugh Pentecost and his actress were there. I often stand in front of this mirror.
Yeah.
There's really no one else to look at me, is there? Except myself. Oh, of course, there are the servants, but one doesn't dress to please servants.
I hope you dress to please me.
On the contrary, I undress to please you.
An excellent sport you are, my dear.
Why did Herbert Mills not ask me there?
Oh, I've already told you.
When I was at the dressmaker, Mrs. Forbes told me that you had attended a reception across the river at Seacombe last week. She assumed I'd been with you. What's wrong with me?
You're being quite unreasonable, my dear. You've been here less than 3 months. It takes time to find one's place in a strange town. And everyone knows that Liverpool is conventional to a ridiculous degree.
I was wondering whether we might not go to the theatre on Saturday night. A company from London is...
No, I won't be back in time. Racing at Harwood Cross.
Well, I'll come with you.
Why not? I'd have suggested it myself, and I thought it bored you.
At least I'll see somebody.
Must leave you now. Got an appointment at the Flags.
Will you be dining tonight?
Thanks, Victor. If not, I'll send one of the messengers.
Don't cry. Love isn't meant to be like that. All men are cruel. I left my husband after the wedding night.
Oh, go away. Please.
Alice, over here.
Very nice to be here. Oh, Margaret, how kind of you.
That's it. I shouldn't like to be your bookmaker, James. How on earth do you pick 'em?
The same as women, old boy. You know what they'll do by the way they walk. Alice?
Yes, sir.
You tell Mrs. Pilbeam to open a bottle of the grocer's hock. I'd like you all to drink my health in the kitchen.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
And he took the job. Another job. Yes. Yes.
Oh, no, thank you. I won't have any.
Oh, yes.
Go on, Florrie. I'm sure it was you who brought me luck.
Champagne always makes me dizzy.
Oh, but Florrie, you must.
Hold your nose, then you won't taste it. They say the Duke of Wellington used to do that.
I told you, Florrie. I want you to drink to me. Besides, I like you when you're dizzy.
To James. And damnation to all bookmakers.
James! By God, that last race was a corker. I didn't think Seymour would find a way through.
Hicks had him well boxed in on the final round.
It's a long time since I've seen anything so exciting. So much wild cheering and shouting.
My God, he can ride, I'll say that.
James, now be honest. How much did you win?
On the day? Oh, enough to pay my tailor. Oh! Riley! Let me top you up before my wife shows you the conservatory. Didn't know you were a racing man, nor a friend of my wife's.
Well, I wasn't actually before today. My sister introduced us. She met Mrs. Maybrick 2 weeks ago in the park, I believe.
Oh, yes, that'll be the second week in March, when she went to see the azaleas.
Oh, was it? Oh, my sister didn't say.
I'm old-fashioned, I'm afraid. I don't approve of ladies going unescorted to the park.
Oh, my sister finds it quite agreeable.
I've no doubt. You better keep an eye on Mrs. Maybrick, Briley. If champagne makes her feel dizzy, she may need your support.
Oh, of course. Excuse me.
What a memory you've got, James. Fancy remembering what your wife was doing in the second week in March. I couldn't even tell you what I was doing myself.
Memory for detail is one of the essentials of a happy marriage. Henry Mercer, you're dry. Now, come on, let's go into the parlor. They've set some more out there.
Splendid, splendid. Come along, then. I'd like to hear more about that.
My sister was so disappointed that she hadn't seen you again in the park.
Oh, I haven't been going there. Just on Sundays sometimes when my husband takes me.
What about the rest of our beautiful city? Have you been to the Opera House? Or the new theatre? Oh, you should, you know.
Well, I haven't had much opportunity. We don't go out very often. Oh, my husband's business makes great demands on his time.
Well, he's luckier than most brokers then. Well, if he's so busy, why don't you call on my sister? I'm sure she'd be delighted to go anywhere with you. As indeed I would.
Do you live with her?
Oh, no, I've rooms in Corunna Road at number 42. You'd be equally welcome there. My friends call me Alfred. And since you're to be one, you may as well begin. Florrie.
Thank you.
I'm sorry to hasten your departure, but we have this appointment.
I haven't said goodbye to Mrs. Maybrick yet.
And I shall say it for you.
really?
I'm sure she didn't mean to.
If she were mine, I wouldn't leave her alone in the conservatory with young Brierley.
Monsieur Voltaire says somewhere, the trust is an animal you cannot lock up in a cage.
I wouldn't leave her alone with the Frenchman either.
Goodbye, Mrs. Voltaire.
Goodbye, and
Goodbye.
thank you so much.
Henry,
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Billy, tell Alice to lay cold meat and pickles on the sideboard, and we shan't want anything more tonight.
There's pork or beef, sir?
Rather than both. We don't want to be disturbed again. You can clear away in the morning.
You embarrass me. I shouldn't be listening to you.
I was only paying you a compliment. Someone should pay you compliments, Florrie, because you're so very attractive. When your husband was my age, I've no doubt he'd pay compliments to married women. How much older than you is he?
20 years, but it really... Let me get you some more champagne.
No, no, thank you. I'd much rather just talk to you.
I'm glad that your sister remembered me and that you were able to join us today.
Oh, but she didn't. After the second race, your husband came across and asked me to join you.
Why should he do that? Why should he ask you?
Well, you've met my sister, and I suppose... Anyway, I'm glad he did. It gives us a chance to meet again. I'm grateful to him, Florrie.
We must go back now. We must join the others.
What's wrong?
What are you doing, Pilly? It's not time for dinner, and
The
besides...
master asked us to lay.
Are the guests staying for dinner, then?
The other guests have gone, Mum.
Gone? I didn't hear them go. James.
Ah, there you are. And Mr. Brown. You dining with us, Brian?
Oh, no, thank you. I'm expected elsewhere. I was just leaving.
I wasn't inviting you to dine. I was merely inquiring whether my wife had invited you.
No. Of course not.
You're perfectly free to do so, I know.
Mr. Brierley is dining with his sister.
In that case, you must have a drink before you go.
I really think I should be leaving.
That'd be extremely ungracious of you, don't you think? You've enjoyed the amenities of this house. Surely you can spare a moment for your host.
Thank you.
You like the conservatory?
Oh, Mr. Brierley thought it most attractive. I was telling him I spend most of my time there.
It's a habit you might forego when we have guests, my dear. As Lord Russell said of our allies in the Crimea, one does not make friends by neglecting them. The vines from California. Florrie showed you the canary.
Oh, yes, she did.
Canary's a bachelor like you, Mr. Brown. And unlike you, he's restricted to his cage. He's not free to forage for partners.
If Mrs. Maybrick has neglected her guests this evening, it is entirely my fault. It was selfish of me to monopolize her time.
My husband is exaggerating the matter.
Florrie, I wish you'd try and catch Mrs. Pilbeam. I'd like her to set out some of that hare pate that my brother sent me. Oh, would you tell her before she retires?
Yes, of course.
Sit down.
Oh, I really must go in a moment.
If you won't sit down, would you mind standing where I can see you? What are your intentions towards my wife?
I don't know what your question means. I have no intention above that of being her friend. And yours.
Won't be possible, I'm afraid.
I'm sorry to hear you say so.
We're both members of the Flags. If you had wanted my friendship, you could have sought it before now. And if it's my wife's well-being that you have at heart, then you've done her no service this afternoon. The fact that she neglected her guest to amuse you is no doubt a subject of vulgar gossip already. I wish you good evening, Brierley.
But this is ridiculous. She is a friend of my sister, as you very well know.
Because my wife knows no better than to speak to strangers in the park does not mean to say that your sister can presume on our friendship.
Oh, my sister had
I
no...
hope that you will take cordial farewell of Mrs. Maybrick, Brierley. She need not know that she's not meeting you again.
It's been a pleasure meeting you, Florrie.
Perhaps I shall see you again at your sister's. And do tell Miss Briley that she will be welcome here whenever she chooses to call.
I will.
Help me. Please, Alfred. Please.
I can't, Florrie. You'll only suffer more. I'm sorry.
Our young friend gone?
Yes. It was a pity Miss Briley could not come back with her brother. Perhaps I will be able to visit her.
One does not visit strangers who accost one in the park. It is not the way of society in Liverpool, nor anyone else, as far as I know.
Why did you invite them to join us at the races then, if you did not approve of them?
To see if you knew how to comport yourself. In the event you didn't, you humiliated me, Florrie, and in front of my guests.
It was only because I've had no one else to talk to before.
Mrs. Mercer was here. You didn't speak to her. Well, Lottie Saunders.
So old. Everyone is so old.
Same age as I am. Sit down.
I'm tired.
You spent an hour with a stranger. Surely you have time for your husband. The servants are out. We can eat when we like.
I didn't sleep very well last night. Please.
Florrie? Florrie?
I'm not very well. Don't you understand?
We'll have to get Dr. McCrae to have a look at you if you're not up to your duties.
Please understand.
You've been well enough all day.
Please.
Hair doesn't agree with me.
any mercy.
This is your home. It's your marriage bed, and by God, you'll lie in it.
It's not my home, it's a brothel. You only want me for this, I'm nothing else to you.
You marry me.
I can't do it. Please don't make me do it.
You've been well enough all day.
Please, God, don't make me do it. I can't. I can't. No! Mrs. Rodney Ackroyd at home, 1st and 3rd Thursdays. Dear Florrie, please visit us soon. Mrs. Phoebe and Rachel Ogilvy cordially invite Mrs. Florence Maybrick to join them on Thursday at the Lodge, Mulberry Hill. Colonel and Mrs. Francis Gore Hepburn request the pleasure of Mr. and Mrs. James Maybrick at a reception to honor the engagement of their daughter Cynthia to Captain Richard Murray. Dear Florence and James, as one of James' oldest friends, I hope I may address you thus and tell you that I would like you both to come to a dinner party we are giving on the 17th. I cannot tell you what pleasure it will be for us to meet Florrie.
You're up and unconscionable now, Florrie. What time is it? Oh, my head is bursting. Give me one of your powders, please, Florrie.
Alice to take this note across to Dr. McRae straight away.
What's wrong? Is he ill?
He's complaining of cramp in his stomach. It is my opinion that he drank far too much brandy after the races yesterday. The decanter was nearly empty this morning. Oh, and you might make some gruel, Pilly. Use milk instead of water. I'll take it to him when it's ready.
What's happened to your neck?
Oh, it's nothing. My hand slipped when I was removing a brooch. Well, tell Alice to hurry. Dr. McRae leaves early on his rounds.
Why do you stay with him? Why, when he treats you like that?
Please, Pilly. Alice is back. She says Dr. McRae will be across straight after breakfast.
I shouldn't have called him. He's a silly old fool.
I want him to see you.
Look, Brandy. The scales of time adjust each day to show how much is owing us and how much we owe. German poets are boringly accurate. I had an excellent day yesterday, and I might have known today would have been disaster. I was very, very drunk.
Let me have it, Billy.
Polly!
I'm just coming.
Filthy stuff.
It'll do you good. You must finish every scrap of it. All the goodness is at the bottom.
Good morning, Mrs. Pilbeam. How are things at Battle Crease House?
Very well, thank you, Doctor. Except for the master.
Ah, well, we'll soon attend to that. Where's your mistress?
She's upstairs giving the master his breakfast.
If he can take breakfast, he shouldn't have need of me.
No, Doctor.
Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning, Mrs. Maybrick. You shouldn't have fed him, you know.
Oh, it was only a little gruel.
I'll have a look at him. Don't be distressed if you hear him calling out. Well, Jim, you rascal. Tell me how all were.
Tell Alice to wash everything on the tray very thoroughly. And rinse it several times. Oh, the master may have something catching, and we don't want to suffer from it as well.
I'll tell her, Mum.
Aye. Let's see your tongue. What did you eat yesterday?
Not very much. A bit of game pie out of the track and nothing at all last night.
But I can tell by your horrible breath that you had more than a dram to drink. Now, I'm going to give some of this medicine to your wife and tell her how to administer it. It'll very likely blow you up like an old sow. So I'll not be dropping round for a couple of days. After all, the foul wind has blown itself out. Mind you, if you get very bad, they can always send for me. But you do well to remember, Jamie, that you're over 40. If you drank a wee bit less, you'd feel a great deal better.
You drink like a fish yourself.
I know I do, but I also have my supper in the evenings to sop it up. Well, goodbye, Jimmy.
How is he, Doctor? I'm terribly worried.
Well, you've no need to be. He has an inflamed intestine from drinking on an empty stomach. Now, he's to have a teaspoonful of this 1 hour before each mealtime. He won't want to eat much, but give him anything he fancies. Oh, and for the first 2 days, you better put everything twice through the mincer. We'll have to assist nature in her work.
Thank you, Doctor.
You're looking a wee thing pale yourself.
Oh, well, I was awake most of the night.
Well, if it gets any worse during the next 2 days, You can send Alice for me. Goodbye, Mr. Maybrick.
Florrie. Florrie, where are you? Oh, come on. Why doesn't somebody come? Oh, oh God.
Oh, he's much better, Philly. Almost his old self. Well, what is it, Philly? I don't need anything.
I noticed you'd taken your cases from the box room. I thought perhaps if you were going away...
Oh, I can't go now, Philly. I can't leave until he's recovered.
When you go, please let me come with you. I'll look after you.
Oh, I shan't be able to afford a servant, Philly.
You don't have to pay me. I have some money of my own.
There. Barnabas is nice and cozy. Philly, if you have money of your own, what earthly point is there in your working for me? Oh, besides, I shall probably go to my mother in Paris, and she already has more servants than she needs. What's wrong, Philly? Oh, mind you, it's a secret between us, Philly. Philly?
Florrie! I'm dying, Florrie. Let me in.
I'll fetch the doctor.
No, no.
Let me go.
No, it's too late. Please, help me. Help me.
You should have called me.
Help me. Help me. No, no, go away.
Oh, there isn't room.
There's been room before. Please. Please. You're my prisoner, Florrie. You've been my prisoner ever since I married you, ever since I brought you here. I wanted to hide you away from everyone. Someone would have taken you otherwise. Someone always takes a young wife.
Let me get the medicine.
No, no,
Oh,
no,
please, it's only next door. I'll come straight back.
You're my very own, Florrie. I couldn't bear the thought of losing you. Not like all the others.
Others? There weren't any others.
Mama was the first. Mama left when I was 3. And then the nannies went one by one every few months after. Father buried them.
Please, don't say any more.
Well, that's why I was always whoring, because there was never... No woman I could trust until I met you.
Please, don't talk. Don't talk.
I must talk, Florrie. I must keep on talking. I'm such a damn coward. You are my very own Florrie. My own. It wasn't revenge who made me want to hide you away. It was because I knew there'd always be someone like Brierly waiting. Someone your own age. Someone waiting to steal you away from me. Someone like Brierly. That you were my own. This is you the one who would never leave me.
No!
After the confession, the absolution.
Oh, no.
Come closer.
No, please.
Where's Mrs. Maybrick?
She's still in the conservatory. She hasn't moved since we found her there. She could have taken poison herself.
What are you talking about?
Isn't that what he died of?
He died of apoplexy, Mrs. Pilbeam. Probably a seizure while he was vomiting.
But, Doctor, why was he vomiting?
I was treating him for a disorder of the stomach. Well, I fail to see what concern it is of yours.
But she poisoned him, Doctor. It's the concern of us all.
Take a hold of yourself, woman. You don't know what you're saying.
But I do know what I'm saying. It's empty. There are two of them, both empty.
I would advise you to keep your evil opinions to yourself, Mrs. Pilbeam. That poison was quite probably used for its proper purpose. Besides, there was no reason for it. They were a most devoted couple.
He hit her incessantly. She spent half her life crying. They were constantly fighting. Why don't you examine the scratches on her neck?
Because she has not asked me to, Mrs. Pilbeam, and I warned you.
He was bedding one of the maids here in this house under her nose, and she knew it. Ask the maid. Ask Alice. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Oh, Shakespeare knew.
Mrs. Pilbeam, you are in shock. Let me
She
prescribe.
made me wash every dish he'd used and rinse it several times. And if you don't believe me, there are others who will. And she'll hang, you'll see. She'll hang by the neck until she's as dead as he is. Dead, dead, dead!
Stop it! You'll make yourself a cup of tea, Mrs. Pilbeam. I'll give you some tablets to take with you. Meanwhile, I'll be making out my certificate.
No, Doctor! I shouldn't write your certificate if I were you. It's too late, you see. I've already sent Alice for the police.
I feel Mrs. Pilbeam's gone out of her mind. She's talking a lot of wild nonsense. She says, you poisoned Jamie with the arsenic for that cupboard. I never knew how Jamie could stand that woman myself. She's a real spiteful creature. She's sent for the police now. I'll hope they ask her how she knew the tins were empty. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, she said. She got that wrong. And it was Congreve, not Shakespeare. Jamie could have told her that. He was aye fond of a quotation. A woman scorned, indeed. I wonder who it was now who maybe scorned her. Could it be that husband she said she had so long ago? Or was it Jamie? Or you? Mrs. Maybrick, whatever has happened in this house will not talk to you till I say you're ready.